watching Gacha Smakcs. I went to Japan to play Neverness to Everness, and it exceeded my expectations. I like Gacha. I think Gacha gives good stuff, good content. Neverness to Everness, I'm very excited for. I think it looks very different. It is made by the same people who made TOA, so a lot of people, TOA, oh my god, I'm thinking the Widowing Waves, TOF, so a lot of people are worried about it. Excuse me, but I think that this game, off rip, the combat seems better. I feel like a lot of people, like, they pretend when they saw TOF, they were like, wow, this game looks great. I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I think when I saw TOF first, I thought the game really did not look good, but I had hope because that meant Genshin competition, and they were advertising themselves as Genshin Killer. So when you see the gameplay, you're like, this doesn't look that great. It looks like it plays like an MMO. It's floaty. The hit detection looks ass, and doesn't really look too hot. But due to the fact that they're advertised as the Genshin Killer, it has to be amazing, right? And it winds up being bad. So I think if you put your skepticism to a side, let's watch this, see what happens. The one thing I hope he goes over is the reaction system, because the reaction system does seem to be very different. It does have the normal Genshin where it could be 2 to 3 elements combination, but from Raxophone's video, now obviously everything is subject to change. It seems in which that the reaction system, certain characters have 2 extra reactions that do, you know, let's say do something specific. For example, I'm making up something. Let's say Nahida and Yalan create a bloom. Nahida would then actually add 2 types of details to that reaction to make it more advanced. So enough of me yap. Let's see what Gacha has to say. Let's go. Let's get it.
Gentlemen, it's finally time to share my experience with Neverness to Everness at the Tokyo Game Show. I got to fly out to Japan, attend the show, and go to the booth and play the game very early and share my insights with you guys, as well as the entire experience. But before,
it is crazy that they're letting people play the game super early. I don't know where this was said. I don't know if this was on a stream, if this was in Brax's video, or if it was on Twitter. I cannot remember. Don't take my word. But I feel like someone said the game is releasing 3rd quarter of next year. Just keep that in mind. That's obviously STE, subject to change. STC, I can't spell.
Before we go any further, I want to give a galactic shout out to the Neverness to Everness team for sponsoring this entire ordeal, this entire trip. Taking a chance on me as a content creator to share my insights and knowledge with the time that I spent with the game there. They could have chose anybody, and they went with good old Gacha Smakcs, and good Lord, I am eternally grateful for it. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to sharing this whole experience with you guys, though, because y'all are also ultimately the ones to thank for me being in this position. It's really cool.
Oh my god!
We're gonna be talking about what that was like, going to the Tokyo Game Show, visiting the booth, all the activities there. How was the staff? What was it like? Was it popular? We're gonna go over every little detail, and then of course the meat and potatoes. We're gonna get into the actual gameplay and explain all of my insight on that. Now, if you don't have any interest in my experience with the Tokyo Game Show, rest assured there will be timestamps. But for those who are, we're going to get into that first before we go straight into the gameplay, okay? Now, before we jump in, I want you guys to know one little detail here. I spoke with one of the staff members, and they aren't affiliated with Tencent. Neverness to Everness is a Hada Studios game, which is a subsidiary of Perfect World Games, but they aren't affiliated with Tencent. So whoever wanted to know that information, who was interested,
that's interesting.
You have that knowledge now. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So as soon as we got in, it was literally a gamer apocalypse.
Everyone should go watch this video, and they should go support Gacha Smakcs again. He's a GOAT in the community. I am going to go to the gameplay and review because I'm kind of antsy. I want to see what's happening.
I was able to play much longer, obviously, because I was there for business.
So let's
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. One of the first things I want to comment on immediately is the game's visuals, which is top shelf tequila, top of the line. If you guys don't know already, this game is being ran on the Unreal Engine, the highest form of the Unreal Engine. So it's taking that anime shell shaded aesthetic and bringing it to the highest capacity.
They're killing it with that.
Another thing that's worth noting is the footage that you're looking at is recorded from my camera. It's not recorded from OBS. It's not recorded like through the PC. No, I put my camera in front of the monitor and hit record. So you're actually not even looking at obviously the highest quality of this game. You're looking at it through the lens of my.
Bro, just look at earlier, son. Like, this is insane. Like, visually, they got this on lock. I think visually this could potentially be the best looking gacha game. Character designs, I think, are very good. but the world environment and the enemies and everything are so unique and just look so good that I think yeah, I think this is the one.
Camera, and it still looks absolutely gorgeous. This exceeded my expectations 100%. I covered this game in the past. I had a sponsor in the past where I got a chance to look at it, but seeing it in person was a different beast. The colorations of this game are absolutely insane as well. Like, I think the color in this game is orgasmic. Actually, it's
like what Brack said. It's that TikTok overly saturated. When you look at YouTuber thumbnails like myself, you take a Genshin character and you just saturate it to the max, and it looks. I love it. I love this. I love the oversaturation on it.
Insane.
It looks great.
And there's gonna be some scenes and clips that I'm gonna be showing you guys where you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. By no means am I exaggerating there. But yeah, overall, visually, you will not be disappointed with this game. I dare say it's going to be competing for the #1 spot in the space.
It's a #1
for the visuals.
No, it is for the visuals, without a doubt. Like the creativity of it, it is the #1. I truly believe it is. I don't think there's another gacha game that comes close to this, realistically. I really don't.
Okay, so the next thing I want to touch up on briefly is the methodical approach to storytelling in NTE, which it seems to take the same path as like Genshin Impact, HSR, and Wuthering Waves, where they have that stagnant background and you're forced to watch two people talk to one another, and then they kind of show off different angles of the characters interacting with some transitions of background and stuff. It's doing that same thing, which you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of.
My biggest concern and the biggest thing I want to see, I will die on this hill. I think the way Hoyoverse tells their stories sometimes can be very good in like the Act 5s or Act 4s, or sometimes in Act 1s. But I think there is too much hoopla. I think Genshin does this thing, not just Genshin, Staria. I think Pentaconi was the biggest proponent. I think Pentaconi really made me dislike Hoyoverse writing. I really do. We'll get into that in a different video. But it might start off hot. It might start off hot in the first 10-20 minutes. It's very rare, but sometimes that happens. And then it goes down, and then they kind of get into a zone where you feel like everything they're saying is irrelevant for about 30 to 50 minutes. They come back up, they peak a little bit, and then after that, they get your attention. 10 minutes later, it goes down. Then they circle back to the 50 minutes of actual hoopla that made no sense, that you're sitting there questioning, why are we discussing this? Because this is irrelevant. And then they tie it in to make you feel as if that, so you have to pay attention to every single thing, and you feel stupid for not liking the fact that it's irrelevant, when it didn't need to take 50 minutes. It could have been done in 10, and the reaction's still the same. Then you do one boss fight, you do something else, one more boss fight, and then it's 10 more minutes, or excuse me, 10 more hours of dialogue. The way they tell their stories is ridiculous. I'm over it. I don't like Hoyoverse storytelling. That's why I like the Woo Quest so much. I think it was very different, the way they tell the story and the way they actually express this. So I don't mind the stagnant sitting there and watching them, because this seems to be more expressive and more anime-like than any of the other games. Easily by far, but I just don't want it to fall down that same rabbit hole, because I think it is genuinely the most frustrating. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I find it so cringe and annoying where everyone just praises all the Hoyoverse stuff. Even sometimes the Woo stuff, this is the greatest story ever. Like, bro, go play The Witcher 3. You know what I'm saying? Like these stories in a vacuum, when you're only into this world that they have built, and this is your main game and the only game, yeah, the story's great. From an outside perspective, it's like a 6. It's like a 6.5. You know what I'm saying? Like a 7. So yeah, I just don't want it to fall to that. Let's continue.
But what I noticed in NTE, and maybe this is in my head, you guys can comment down below and let me know, was it seemed that the interactions were a bit more quick and snappy than Poppy. There was
way more
zooming out. Mint definitely was very expressive, and she was moving as well, which you normally don't see in the other games. It kind of just like look a little stiff. As fair criticism as well, but in this game it appeared that they were trying to switch up the scenery more often and frequent to keep you from losing your attention span, so that you can still have a more palatable and consumable experience. If they continue to do that, that would be a positive, and that would be an upgrade to that methodical approach. So I hope they continue that. The main protag definitely appeared to be stiff and expressionless. So I don't know. Maybe it's in my head. Maybe it's not.
No, most likely the main protagonist is going to be bad. It's just, it is what it is. You know, the main characters in Star Rail is not good. The main character in Genshin is not good. The main character in Wu or over. Hot take. Don't care. I'm more invested in the other characters. I was so emotional about Shorekeeper's story because of Shorekeeper, not because of Rover. So yeah, I don't think that the main protagonists are probably just not going to be good. Most likely.
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but I did at least want to comment on that. All right, now it's time to talk about the important stuff, the combat. The combat intricacies, let's go ahead and go over those real quick. So we have a basic attack sequence. We have our skill input. We also have an ultimate, and your ultimate is not shared amongst your party members. Remember, there's 4 people you can swap between. You can use all 4 ultimates and not sharing them. There's also a similar ability in this game, like Wuthering Waves intro skill, except it's called a fade in. So once you build up meter on your side characters, you can then switch them in and they'll do a special move upon entering battle. There's also a perfectly timed dodge in this game as well, but I did not discover a parry. There was no parry system that I saw.
I don't think there is
in
one.
NTE. Another thing that I didn't see in NTE was heavy attacks, which was a bit of a letdown for me personally. Some people might like that oversimplistic, aspect, but I personally like to have as many tools in the arsenal as possible to utilize depending on the situation at hand.
Looks fire,
another thing I did not do, and I tried to test it out, was there was no basic attack sequence variety, and what I mean by that is like 1, 2, pause, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pause, 4, and then you do like maybe some different moves. I didn't get to experience any of that, which again makes the game overly simplistic for me personally, but that's going to be very mobile friendly. You know, if you're playing on a mobile device, you'll be able to like do these basic attack sequences no problem, and you're just not going to be like complex and like, oh my god, how do I do all this other stuff. It seemed to be very friendly for all entry-level players, which is obviously a positive thing for capturing a whole entire audience. But me personally, being a sweaty gamer that I am, I would have liked to have seen some more combat variety. Now, again, this is the beta, so they could add that in down the line. Who knows? But for now, it was just a basic attack sequence, a skill, a ultimate, and then your fade in skill.
So I 100% agree with him. I do wish that there was a heavy attack, because I think that is I think it's a little weird that they don't have a heavy attack. Pairing, I think, is not a big deal, which obviously Gacha Smakcs didn't say it was a big deal. But who am I looking? Braxophone. So I can't spell, but in one of his videos, the one that I reacted to on my channel. Oh my god, bro. Okay, let me just go to my channel real quick. In his video, there is a screen where they go over elemental reactions, and so while I think the base gameplay is going to be very, very simple, I do think there is going to be some nuance to the combat due to the fact that, as I've said, you have your normal 2 to 3 portion reactions, but then after that, each character seems to have its own individual set of extra reactions in there. So, for example, right here is perfect. So, if you look at it right now, this reaction, this and this equals Blossom. So it says Blossom after triggering an Esper cycle. And again, I haven't played the game. Gacha played the game, right? But this is based off of what I've seen and analyzed from all the footage we have. After triggering an Esper cycle, a Lebenstam, which is that little thing that pops up that's shooting out that ball throughout the footage, that is this reaction. Will spawn near the character, and 5 Blossom Lebens blooms will fly forward towards the target and explode every 2 seconds, dealing damage to the area. So, when you create this reaction with this character, each Lebenstam splits into 2 and explodes upon hitting a target within reach. Then it says Mint has 2 of these. Blossom Enhancement. Each Lebenstam will spawn 5 additional Lemon Blooms with 100% increased attack rate. And then Blossom Enhancement. Lemon Bloom's attack range will be expanded by 200%, increasing damage by 100. Now, we don't, and obviously you can go on and go more and go check out Braxophone. Don't watch my video. Go watch his. But there is going to be nuance and complexity to the system. Now, obviously, we don't know how to activate each of those. Are both of those automatically activated? Do you have to press a button? Do you have to pick one of them? But there does seem to be more to the elemental system than just this is an element. So that, I think, is what they are hoping will get the hardcores into it, and the casuals won't even bother, right? The hardcore people will really sit there and bunker down on that and figure that out. So yeah, that is my only thing that I don't know if he covers it. We're only 10 minutes in, right? We got more time, so let's see.
What I will say is I really thoroughly enjoyed the visuals of the ultimate as well as the skills. They look very nice. The ultimate, like, they got some really beautiful flamboyant cutscenes, and also skill swapping and skill rotations, because you don't have like heavy attacks and you don't have like basic attack pause sequences and stuff, at least not with the characters I experimented with. The quick swapping is the first thing that comes to mind, and quick swapping in this game is definitely going to be, I can tell you right now, meta viable. You're going to use a skill and the ultimate, and then you're going to swap skill and ultimate.
God bless. I'm not going to lie to you. I think quick swapping, ever since doing WUWA, I love quick swapping. So the fact that quick swapping is a real thing and it's viable just makes me so happy. It really is Genshin meets WUWA. Honestly, it's great. I love it.
Swap skill and ultimate, and that was pretty much the combat experience for me. Overall, I really enjoyed it. If I had to give it a scale from 1 to 10, I would have given it an 8 out of 10. It felt really nice. Next up, we're going to be moving into the user interface friendliness, the quality of it, the aesthetic of it. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite user interfaces I've seen again in this space. I'm telling you guys right now, NTE's quality is top shelf.
It's up there, bro. It's up there.
There was nothing that was like confusing about it. Everything was pretty easy to see. As we're scrolling through the stat menu here, you're able to see all the different elements, right? We got Cosmo, Anima, and
I also think this is one of those things where I think that the stats are going to have more of an importance than something like Genshin. I think there is going to be a wider variety of buffs and debuffs. This is 100% based off of inference, but what we've seen in the footage and like the other Brax video and stuff, I do think that a lot of this is 1-to-1, but I do think there will be more. True, that's my opinion.
Incantation, Chaos, Cyclops, Shana, Cognito. They've got some different names here, but I'm sure you'll get acclimated to them. They got Break Intensity, Essentia, and Charge Speed, which I believe Charge Speed is probably going to be your energy, and Break Intensity, just like in Hawkeye Star Rail, every enemy has a shield underneath their health that you can break, and then they go into this stun period phase where you're able to dish out tons of damage. And then Essentia, I actually wasn't able to unveil what that was, but you know, you'll be able to see that upon the release of the game. But yeah, you can take a look at this UI and just see how sleek, clean, and crisp it is. I actually compare it to ZZZ's UI. That's one of the best UIs I've ever seen in this space as well, which is another talking point for me. I think NTE is like, they're taking all the best elements of a lot of different gachas and they're putting it in their game, which I could truly appreciate, man. They're cooking it up. But this is your basic attack, skill, ultimate, fade in, and passive menu. Again, look how easy it is to find everything. Overall, I give the UI a 10 out of 10. Absolutely. Next up is going to be the driving app.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. That was a Tism moment.
Aspect of NTE, which one of the positive things about taking place inside of a metropolis is obviously going to be to take advantage of metropolis perks. There's a lot of cars on the street. There's you know, it's a city life. You know, what's better to add into your city life game than a bunch of beautiful sports vehicles? You know.
I don't remember because I just watched the Gacha cast a few moments ago. I don't think this was confirmed. I think it was confirmed that cars do different things, like different speeds and whatnot. And so I think PvP racing is going to be absolutely a crucial part of this video game. I think PvP racing, if they don't have it at launch, it is something that I would personally rather them launch it PvP racing, or like if they launch it, wait like a week or two and then drop it. But I think PvP racing, sorry, I'm tired. I think it's going to be great. The open world looks amazing, and you can hit stuff with the destructibles. You can't run over kids and stuff like that, keep saying, but overall, I think it looks sick.
You can see a lot of cars driving by. The city's quite immersive. I really like the colorations as you're going through the city. It's got something about it. It's got a bit of a tranquil feel.
Gacha was being a responsible driver because he was out there on sponsor. This man goes live, you know, Damo's getting with the Well, you know what I'm saying, but whatever.
It's relaxing. But then again, on like the Grand Theft Auto side of things, if you want to like go wreck your car, bro, drive it off of cliffs, go try and run some people over, those limitations are nowhere to be found. Bro. This game does not restrict you from doing any of that. You can park on the curb, you can park on the stairs, you can park whatever the hell you want to park. Different cars are gonna have different handling and different speeds, and there's also a boss fight you can do while driving. It is RNG based, and it's also depending on what kind of weather you're driving in. If the weather is right, the boss will pop up, which is an insane little RNG perk that they've added into NTE. I like that type of stuff because I think it breathes an air of excitement, the unexpected. It's suspenseful, right? Oh snap! So I wonder what kind of other boss fights and stuff though.
He's 100% right, without a doubt. The only part that will cause a problem if those rewards are needed and linked directly to level up. If they're directly linked to level ups, obviously still want it to be RNG. But if you can control the time of day, I think that helps quite a bit, because it would really suck if you cannot control the time of day and you need to wait 3 in-game hours in order for you to potentially find this random enemy that you have to fight to maybe upgrade your weapon, or the case may be. So I think the RNG aspect of it, you never know. They might update a patch and it incentivize you to explore, because maybe you patch 1.1, you're walking through the sunny day in a park and all of a sudden like Venom drops on you. You know, like that unpredictableness is honestly crucial and will genuinely make this video game so much better. But again, the actual the way they I don't know, I'm drawing a blank. The way they take that and implement it with how you level up characters is going to be a big component that I don't know will be positive or negative. That's all I'm saying.
They'll cook up based on the weather. Final thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be like roaming the city and visiting properties. They did say they're going to be adding multiple like properties for you to own, I believe.
My finance bro.
I didn't get to do that in this beta because, you know, obviously this is not the full game, but we got
4 million. That property's 4 million, bro. 4 million type beat, you know, my crypto wallet's always open. You can hit me up if you need, like, what? This
got to visit one of the properties that is mine, and it's like in this Manhattan luxurious suite, bro. Kind of looks like something I stayed in when I went to Japan, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. It looks gorgeous. I'm really more excited about the potential and the ability to expand upon this idea. When you go up to this suite, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. With this Unreal Engine, the visuals and that modern day aesthetic just looks stunning. And don't sleep on like room design and room exploration. People love doing this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Getting to set up your room to your liking and to your taste. That's huge. And then owning multiple properties. What I do know for a fact is in my last video that I covered, the room looked completely different. So that
I personally don't care for that stuff. Like, I'm not a teapot gamer, but it's a cool option to have for sure.
That tells me, you know, I know you're gonna be able to design this the way you want to design it, man. It's really motivating too. Like when I look at this, I'm like, man, I'm just not working hard enough. That's the pad I need to have in order to convince myself that I've made it, you know? Also, just a quick little reminder, if you ended up enjoying what you saw in this video, don't forget to pre-register with the link down below in the description box. It will also be pinned in the comment section, and trust me, you're going to want to pre-register. This game's going to be amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know,
pre-register, help Gacha Smakcs out.
Come to an end. That's going to wrap up our first impressions of Neverness to Everness, aka NTE. Overall, I was thoroughly impressed and expectations were absolutely exceeded with this game. I wasn't expecting the polish, the refinement. I wasn't expecting the quality, and it looks really good. I understand this is a sponsored video and you guys are very pessimistic, as you should be, but know that Neverness to Everness gave me full-blown freedom to critique the game, to share my honest thoughts. They did it the first time too. If you go watch my other video, I was just letting it loose on things I didn't like. So I think when this game releases, a lot of people will be impressed as well. They will be playing it. I think a lot of eyes are on it, and they should be. You can see just from all this footage, they've been pouring their heart and soul in it, and I think with a little bit of direction, they're going to be cooking up a banger here.
Shout out to Gacha. Everyone go follow Gacha. Everyone go sub, all that good stuff. Dudes go to person in the community. You know, you're going to have the people that say the game sucks, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Or if it flops, they'll come back to someone like Gacha. Or like, I think Jello just did a sponsor video for them or something. They blame them, but they're just fucking idiots. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm personally excited. This has just got to be more excited. I just want them. Obviously, if that is correct, it's a quarter away. I think they need to start doing more marketing. And now, granted, sponsoring videos with creators is absolutely the right direction, straight up. But I do wish they would start doing a little bit more. With that being said, I love you. The link to this video will be in the description. Mwah. I'm out this bitch, but I love your mother a little bit more.